everyone, and how are you all doing? It's that time of the week again, Thursday tutorial time. I think there's a bit of a delay between me broadcasting and hitting you, so I'm hoping that you are okay to, what I'm trying to say is I hope the broadcast is okay, so do let me know. Hello Jane, hello Wendy, it's good to have you join. Hello Lydia. I can't believe that it's getting so dark so quickly. I'm in a slightly different position today just because it's easier. I've got my sewing machine out on the other side because I've been doing a few alterations to a dress that I keep tripping over because not only when I'm wearing it because it's too long. Hello Trisha, she will watch the beginning but then off to dinner. Last day on a crafting holiday, been doing weaving tapestry. That sounds perfect. Please do tell us more about your holiday. That sounds amazing. Hello Anne, hello Sharon. Do let me know what you're all up to, and don't forget to interact on our other Facebook site, Beaders of Beads by Vachil. Hello Tracy. So this week's tutorial is kind of an extension of last week's. So this is what we did last week, which was Christmas wreath earrings, but you can also just do them in normal colours and they won't look like Christmas wreaths at all. So every week we tend to have a good bounce between us on ideas. And we thought that we could look at how to adapt this pattern into doing a ring, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing. So we're using needle and thread, we're using 4mm bicones. Now there's lots of 4mm bicones in the thread. They are really reasonable. I have to confess that I would struggle to buy them that cheap myself from the majority of suppliers, so they're an absolute bargain. They're Chinese bicones. A bicones refers to the shape. Now I'm going to actually do the little band at the back in bicones, however just be aware that it might not be that comfortable for everybody, so you might actually want to look at using the same technique but perhaps using seed beads instead. So, shopping list or list of materials: size 10 beading needle, beading thread, I'd go for about 2 meters and we'll start in the middle. 4mm bicones, size 10 seed beads and size 8. Okay, let's see what you've all been up to. Trisha will show us a picture when it's finished. That will be lovely. Hello Lorraine, lovely to have you join us. Anne is crocheting pumpkins and witches. Please share all of these in our beaders group. That would be so lovely. Sounds fab, Anne. Maxine, evening all, finally made it on time. It's great to have you. Wendy has been making loads of bracelets and earrings this week with beads she got from me and she loves them. Well, that's lovely to hear. Thank you so much. Well, should we crack on? Let's crack on. So let me just set up my phone first and let's just zoom me in. Right. Right, I think we're already there. Let's have a look. That's a nice close-up, isn't it? Hello, Jay. Sharon has been working on a website and crocheting a scarf, then need to attack a pile of unfinished objects. Right. Okay, so here's a needle, here's the thread. Now, what I would suggest on this one is that you wax your thread if you can, and actually start in the middle of your length of thread, and that will just save you having to work in more thread when you come to do the ring band. Okay, so this is, I am going to repeat what we did last week in case you missed it, but the actual link is actually at the top of this live. Now I am going to start putting some of the tutorials on YouTube because I don't think they're that easy to find. So we always start off with 3 bicones and 1 seed bead just for the first one. Now I know some people don't like doing this, but I'm going to. I am actually going to tie a knot to form that into a circle. And that will just help to maintain a nice little tension. Hello, Meg. Jane has been trying out ideas to get the kids in my school Garden of Hope group to make and sell at our school fair. That sounds fab. So I'm going to take my needle up there. Now just bear in mind that for some reason you get a video image. I'm not quite sure why. Properties, filters. Anyway, it might be that we've got a new feature at some point, but it looks like I'm left-handed, I'm right-handed. It's just actually the opposite way round on camera. Now the seed beads are always in the middle, so we now add 2 of the bicones and 1 seed bead, and then you're going to go up through the bicone, so your thread's coming out this side and you're going to come in the other end. Like so. I'm hoping that this colour is okay for you to see, so we are just going to reinforce some of that. Now I would recommend you going all the way back round, it just makes it so much tighter, but I'm just taking a few sort of, how can I put it, skipping a few steps for speed. So because we are coming out near the bottom this time, we'll start with a size 10 seed bead, and then we're going to add 2 crystal bicones. So Wendy tried to look for the mesh flower tutorial but couldn't find it. Wendy, was that through the link on the Beaders group? Was there an error on the link, or is perhaps you haven't seen it? But it is in my YouTube channel at Beads by Virtue. But I will share the link a bit later on. Okay. So we're going to continue until we've actually got 18 bicones in total. So this time I'm going to add 2 bicones and a seed bead. So we're coming out of this side of the bicone, and to make that next circle we're going this way. So always think in groups of 4. So if you look at that, 1, 2, 3, and with the seed bead it's 4. So you're always borrowing it from the previous, borrowing 1 bead from the previous group that you've done. Okay, and you alternate which side you're coming out of as well. So sometimes you're coming out that way, sometimes you're coming out this way. So let's just take stock. Isn't that just gorgeous? So because you're coming out at the bottom, you want to start with a seed bead. Now, you can try different combinations to what I've used, i.e. you don't have to use bicones, you could use round ones, you could use bigger beads. Now, if you really want to have a look at how you can utilize this tutorial to do other things, have a look in Beaders of Beads by Vachil and see what our lovely Linda has done. Linda Sanford, she's one of our lovely admin team in that group, and she made her own sort of pattern and different size beads off the back of the tutorial the other week to make a necklace. Absolutely gorgeous. So, you know, perhaps you can bounce some other ideas off each other whilst we're doing this as to what else you could use this for. We spoke last week about making a number of circular components to link it as a bracelet. Okay, I'll have a little look. I know that some of you have commented. Right, my YouTube channel I think is Beads by Vachil without a space in it. So Beads by Vachil is all one word. That might be why you struggle to find my channel. Right, so just a few more left to do of the top part. I love this blue colour. These I think are either 150 or 165 for a long strand. So 2 bicones, 1 seed bead coming out of that side, so we go up the other end. Now on the last one, it's just slightly different because you're borrowing a bead from each side. Okay, let's just, so what I mean by that is to actually join it, you're going to need a seed bead, then you're going to go up the first one that you started with, so you're actually taking 2 beads you've already used. Okay, so you've just added that seed bead and you've joined that one to there, and then we pop one on the top and go down here, and that joins the whole thing. Okay, there we go. Now what I suggest is that you actually group these, whoops, pop your needle around all of those seed beads just to bring it in a little bit. So we just loop the loop around there. We'll reinforce that again a little bit later on. Like so. Right, I think someone's put the link in for the wire mesh tutorial. So I didn't see who it was, but thank you for putting that link in. Right, what we're going to do next is we're actually going to start making the band for the ring. Now it's so much easier if you can start the band from one side and the other and join the band. So I'm just manoeuvring my needle, and I just need a little refresher. Right, so we're going to go through one of these beads here at the side. Okay, And now we're going to need a few more bicones. So this is if you're using the bicones for the band. Isn't it so sparkly though? I really love it. So think in groups of 4 again. So you utilise that one for the first one, and you're going to add 3 and go around the other side. Now what I'd suggest you do is do the same the other side as well, because it's really easy to forget the pattern formation that you do. So I'm just going to add on a needle the other side. But has anybody else tried this weave from last week? I am loving seeing all of your angels as well. Right, bear with me, I am just threading my needle on the other side. Gosh, the wire mesh tutorial that I did, it's really old. It's a really old tutorial. I used to have a shop quite nearby, and my shop was right opposite an indoor kids play area, and I hadn't done a lot of videos when I had started doing those, and I don't think I'm particularly relaxed, if I'm honest with you. I'd like to think I've come a long way, but you know, I think at the end of the day I've kept it on there because it still gives you an idea as to how to do it. Now don't worry that this is quite slack here. We're going to come back and tighten it up after, okay? But I'm just finding a bead that's opposite, okay? So I'm going to add 3 this side. Believe you me, it is so much easier to make the band a little bit either side and to join them. Right, so I'm going to reinforce that, go all the way around. I know you've got some ideas coming there. I'm just going to carry on with this first of all, and then I'll have a look at your comments. Right, so I'm pretty sure I've done that the right way. So this time we're going to do 3. 1, 2, but we're just working with the bicones. So we're coming out there, and then we're going to anchor at the bottom. So you're working a full circle. Now, if you're going to be selling these, my thoughts is how about maybe attaching some elastic through 2 of the bicones and just doing a single row of beads. That's something you could consider doing. You might need some finer elastic to actually fit around it. But what I'm thinking is here, rather than doing this, is to pop some elastic through there, bring the elastic ends together and actually thread it that way. You could even have a couple of gemstones. Okay, so I'm adding 3 beads there. Is this colour okay for you all today? Because sometimes it's quite difficult to actually see, isn't it, online? Right, so I'm just going to bank that for a second and just do a couple the other side as well. You might be thinking, what on earth are you doing? But I'm hoping It's all going to become very clear. But what I like to do is I like to make these things and think, oh, that was difficult, and how can I make it easier? How can I make it easier for everyone? So that's what I like to do, is to, you know, when I made this, it was a lot of like, oh, I've run out of thread. I've got to add more thread in. Oh, I've forgotten how I actually attach it this side. I'd done it slightly differently. Which way do I add the beads? So by doing it this way, it's visually much easier. Do you know what I've just seen on there? You can make a cross on this as well. How nice would that be? So I'm just thinking what you could do is you could have that going up, and then you could have something going that way as well. That would be quite nice. So sometimes out of, you know, creation, you can just spot something else that you think, oh, give that a go. Now, one of the tips, now was it? It was Trisha. Trisha did this pattern in the week. And one of her tips, which I thought was fabulous, was, I think, if I remember correctly, she used PVA glue and painted her earrings with PVA glue just to give it a little bit more stability. So if you're making a cross or something like that, then what you could actually do is you could do the same, is do lots of reinforcing and paint it with PVA glue to make it a little bit thicker. You could also make two, put one on top of the other and join them to make them a bit thicker. Right, so not quite. You see how it goes? Not quite there. But let me know your thoughts, you know, about the elastic. I was watching Lola Rose on QVC. I love that jewellery. It's very, how can I put it? It's very much into like macrame fastenings, and they had some stretch rings on there, which the gemstones had got 2 whole beads, and they'd just got elastic on there, and I thought, oh my goodness, they were charging about 20 odd quid for them. And I mean, they are beautiful, and it just made me think, you know, if you've got 2 whole beads, you could use that for some stretch, small, medium and large in size, you know, if you wanted to sell them in a shop, you know, online shop for example, or Christmas fair. Right, I am quite happy with that size, so let's just show you how we would join that. Let's bring it down a bit. Okay, so we are going to join one side to the other. So if we borrow one from this, one from that, we just need 2 more, don't we? Because I always think in 4s. Now sometimes it takes a while to get your head round it. You only need to pick up one of the beads to do this. So I'm going to add a bead there, and I'm going to flip it over because that's going to be my front. Now I am going to try and just visualize it and show you. Sorry, that was going off camera there. Okay, so I'm going to pop that through that one there, and then the second one will go through that one there. So you're just bringing a group of 4. Let's just double check that I've got that right. Yeah, so you've joined your bands. Nikki says her hands are too shaky at the moment. Was that to try the tutorial last week, Nikki? Do you know, I have never got a steady hand. It amazes me really that I go on television and do any demonstrating because I've got the most unsteady hand. Right, I'm going to tie those both together. I would reinforce that again, okay, and tie off one of them. You could also add some little beads down the side. I'm so sorry, I'm off camera. Right, so I am just weaving my thread so that I can go back to the start of the ring to tighten it up and finish it. Everybody following me so far? Always, when you're manoeuvring your needle, always make sure that you, when they say follow the thread path, what it means is don't start going into new territory, you know, don't start crisscrossing your threads so that, you know, you don't want to start seeing those threads. Okay, so what we're going to do to finish off is we are going to add our size 8 seed beads at the side. So let's just pop these away. So add one there. Now this is one of my own patterns, which was off the back of us all, all bouncing ideas in last week's tutorial. If you share it in your feed or you share it in other groups, could I ask you just to say where you've actually seen the tutorial? For any of these, that would be so greatly appreciated, because what it will do is it will just help to bring traffic to, you know, to the group and spread the word for people to watch my tutorials, and obviously buy any of the materials should they wish. Right, so I've gone all the way round, I've added that in. I'm going to just go back round just to tighten that up a little bit, but all following so far. So I've tried to make it as sort of workable, I'm so sorry I keep going off camera, workable as possible, whether you're a beginner or, you know, perhaps it's something new, you've not tried it before. It is called right angle weave what we're working with, but don't get too hung up on the right angle weave, because I think sometimes these terminologies create a bit of a brain block. You know, you think, oh, can't do right angle weave. It's just getting your head round what works and what works best for you. Now we're going to pull this in a bit tighter now. Now you can either leave that hole open in the sense that, you know, you can see right through if you wish, or you could add a bead, one of the same colour, or an alternative bead, or a gemstone if you want to. Okay, so it's much easier to do all of this little detail after you've made the band, because if you start adding this before, it just makes it really difficult to actually get the band and all of the beads to flow. Right, so we're going to pop a crystal in the centre. So we're coming out of that bead there, and so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm just going to anchor it to the other side like so. Let's turn that round. I'm going to go back down the bead and I'm going to anchor it the other side, preferably not stabbing my finger, of that seed bead like so. Just go back there again. Now if you wish to make it a little bit more raised, what I actually did is on the black one is I actually made another row of seed beads on top of it in like a ladder stitch. We're not going to go into that just now because I want to keep it, you know, as straightforward as possible, but it's just looking at other options. Bear with me, my needle's come undone. Come on needle. So you don't have to reinforce it, and just bear in mind that sometimes when you've gone quite a few times around that middle circle, you might start running out of space to pop your needle. What you could do with that is then go down to a size 12 beaded needle. Now I am just going to tie this off, and then I'm going to tie off the other thread as well. But you know, the good thing with starting in the middle and having a long thread is you don't have the faff of adding a new thread in. So if you've never tied off before, you just push your needle in between beads and just tie a knot, and do that in 3 places if not more, and then when you've finished, just push your needle around a few more places and cut off. Now, like I say, what you could have done with this is you could have actually put beads. Oops, where's that one? There's the needle. I'm just threading a needle through it that's got no thread on the end. Oh, doing it again. Right. So what I'm saying is you could add your seed beads to fill in those gaps. I think it looks quite nice as it is. I'm just going to tie that off. Just go back and have a look at your comments in a second. So tying off. Can't remember how many times I've tied off. So there you go. Does it fit that one? Yes, it does. There you go. So if you were going to do this by cones, it's perhaps not, it's not uncomfortable, but just bear in mind that obviously the bicones have got sort of pointy edges on them. So it may be just more of a like a nighttime ring, but I really love that. I really enjoyed doing that. That's the black one. Now I mentioned about having another row of seed beads there, so that's a possibility. There you go. So let's have a quick look at your comments whilst we're just leaving that there. Let's just refresh the feed. Just takes a little while just to come back, so bear with me. Hello, Sandra. Oh, thank you for sharing the YouTube video, Trisha. Hello, Sue. Oh, so Wendy saw it on Facebook, the YouTube tutorial, and couldn't find it there. Oh dear, couldn't find it. Well, hopefully you can find it with the link. I do have kits for making the flowers. The kits actually that Francis won this week, and they're beautiful little gifts to go around a wine bottle, around a glass, or you could just make it into a brooch like I show you to do in the tutorial. Nikki said you could use two and use a loop of chain to make a fastening for a cape. Lovely idea. Very easy to see today. Brilliant. Trisha said PVA and water, PVA glue and water mixed together to stiffen up the earrings that she did. And as Nikki said, you can paint it with clear nail varnish. I do that quite often with like ornaments, if I want ornaments to sort of stand nice and bold and straight as well. So all great suggestions. Hello, Kim. Just a quickie while I'm in the chipper, as in chippy shop. Hello, Maxine. Super demo. Oh, thank you. Very frustrating when your hands won't play nicely. Absolutely. I'm so pleased you like that. Hello, Linda. Don't worry. Oh, you've got your little granddaughter with you, Olivia. She's gorgeous. Nikki has dystonia, so never know which part is going to misbehave. Oh, that must be frustrating. Hello, Carol. Sandra said she'll have to watch back as the video froze halfway through. Sorry about that. I know there's quite a delay on at the moment. Now, don't forget, whether you're watching live, whether you're watching back on replay, do make sure that you like the post and you comment so that you're in for a chance to actually win this week's giveaway. So I think that's it for now. So thanks for joining. Don't forget to share your makes in our group, Beaders of Beads by Vichil. Sorry, I'm back. But I rather enjoyed doing that. And I think, you know, any colour combination you could do. And these bicones, I've got them in the feed in the group. They are, I think I've got red, I've got emerald, I've got cyan, I've got pink, I've got clear AB, I've got black and the blue, and they're all between 150 and 165 a strand, and you would get a couple of rings out of each strand, 2 to 3 rings I would say. But anyway, thanks for joining, hope you enjoyed, and I will put the link for this tutorial at the top of the group. Take care, bye.